You just were blessed by the Divine Mother through our Shirley. Her voice, her sincerity takes me deep. So thank you, dear one. What a gift. Good morning. It's good to see you. This is, it's a little unsettling today because normally I have a lot of yipes that come up when I'm about to speak, but I don't have that, and I'm thinking, what's wrong? Oh no, what I've prayed for is happening. I feel peaceful. Now what? It's an interesting feeling, but I think it's because the message really speaks to me. This message about God speaking to us through our heart. It's been my life's work. As a nurse, my favorite nursing was cardiac nursing. My favorite moments with patients were when they wept. These big, strong men saying, "What's wrong with me?" And I said, "Your heart's been opened. Feel it." And they didn't know what to do with that. But they learned. They learned to share with their families, and they learned to see life in a whole new way. And I'm not picking on men in that, but that seems to have been the upbringing of a generation of men during a time where they didn't get to express their heart space. And so I was realizing from a lifetime of work, of course, the divine speaks to us through the heart. Where else? Because the head gets in the way. And there's this beautiful message from Sri Srimnoy just about this as I launch into this. This is the path of the heart. Divine love is the quickest way to realize the highest. The mind has played its role. Now the world is crying for the wealth of the heart, which is love. If we follow the path of the heart, we will see that deep within the heart, the soul abides. Deep within the heart, the soul abides. True, the light of the soul permeates the whole body, but there is a specific place where the soul resides most of the time, and that is in the heart. The spiritual heart is located in the center of the chest. If we want to establish a free access to our soul, we have to focus our attention, our concentration on the heart. This is the center of pure love and oneness. You can reach the spiritual heart through concentration and meditation. If you want to do this every day for a few minutes, you should concentrate on the heart and nowhere else. You should have to feel that you do not have a head, you do not have legs, you do not have arms, you only have a heart. When you stay in the mind, life can seem like a dry piece of wood. But when you stay in the heart, life can be turned into a sea of pure love and bliss. If you can keep your consciousness in the heart, you will gradually begin to experience a spontaneous feeling of oneness. When you cultivate the spiritual soul of the heart, you will find growing there a spontaneous love for God, a spontaneous oneness with God's creation. The path of the heart. Oh, we know that already. You don't have to go anywhere to have that reinforced. That's a given, that's a truth. And oftentimes we think that we're solving any of the issues in our life from the intellect or the brain, but the true creative factor lies in the heart. And why is that? Because it is thought plus the feeling. It is the thought and the emotion that allows your life to demonstrate itself as it shows up. You can pray all you want for something and probably never get it because you're praying for something like you don't have it. But when you pray with the way of that affirmative knowing that the absolute is already so, that you pray with the feelings invested, you see yourself engaged in the outcome. If it's whole and perfect health, you see yourself, I am that. I am that. I am whole and perfect and nothing less. It becomes an answer to your prayer. The creative factor must have that final ingredient. And sometimes we rush past. Well, I said it all. I said it all. I wrote it all out. I wrote my vision. I wrote it. But did you feel it? Did you really feel it? Or were you feeling all the whole while the longing for it and the unhappiness of not having it? You need to bring that, the invitation, don't need to do anything. Sorry, I'm not dictating. But the invitation truly is to see, well, where am I in that timeline of creativity? Ken Gordon, he gives these videotapes to inspire all the ministers in the organization to kind of stay in tune with the message for the particular week. And his words, he reminds us that the science of mind tech supports the idea of thought plus feeling equals the manifestation. So if we truly desire something, we must have the feeling backing it up. Can you feel the difference in maybe experience in your world where that hasn't quite been engaged fully? The heart leads the endeavor and brings benefit to all, whereas a life led by the head or just by your ego and from ideas and dogma can become frustrating and confining and confusing if it's just the head. If we operate from the head, we start to have opinions, and we start to have barriers, and we start to have reactions. How dare they not think like me? And then when you're in the heart, you think, how wonderful how they think. It drops and it shifts into a masterful moment where you are again empowered by the heart leading the way. So everything, Ernest Holmes says, everything is governed by the law, and the law is written in our own hearts. The law is already written in our own heart. He says, Jesus spent much time communing with his own soul, for it is through our inner thought that we connect with God. Call it the consciousness, call it intuition, call it your conscience, or whatever it is. This love, this deep knowing will be there. No man, Ernest Holmes says, can go unguided through life, for all are the divine at the center, and all are images of the Most High. Everything keeps pointing to a center. And yet so often, when I've asked people from different areas of my life, where do you think you feel from and think from? And they all point to the brain as the master. But this interesting fact from Heart Math, and you can look that up, there's wonderful YouTube videos on Heart Math, but the basic is the heart, the cells of the heart, 40,000 of them, were the first thing to form in the embryo, the moment. The heart, not the brain, which you would think that the brain was the instrument that organizes everything and sends messages, but no, it's the sweet little heart. These cells, they start to grow, and then there's a moment. What is that? That says, beat now. That is divine love. It says, beat now. And then the intelligence, the uniqueness of the cardiac cell. Nowhere else in the body are the cardiac cells found, but right there. And so the heart has been determined, has its own brain, its own place of wisdom. I think that's awesome. I think that just releases me of a lot of guilt and feelings and just going, wait, I just go to the heart and offer forgiveness there to myself and to those around me. It's the heart. My mind is causing all this suffering that when I just listen to the brain of my being, when it just dictates out all sources of suffering, my heart, if I stay there long enough, will reveal a truth. The practices of meditation and visioning are those deep practices that allow us to listen to the divine and to allow it to download through the different avenues of the divine instrument. Everything has a purpose, but when we listen with that divine intention, and then we offer through our prayers, through our affirmative prayer and treatments, we offer then a dialogue with the divine. And so humanity and the divinity, they meet right there in the heart space, nowhere else. Right there where these particular cells beat at a rhythm that carries you through a lifetime. And I find refuge in that knowing. We trust the heart when we operate from a place of love. We follow the lightness of the heart. And sure, there's times where our heart gets walled off, abused, scared, frightened. We wall. We start to corner ourselves and say, well, the next time I am going to. The heart doesn't do that. When you go deep into it, when you open the doorway of the heart, all the windows open and all the chambers are free, and they're just saying, my dear one, follow the truth, follow the path of forgiveness and love, and just stay there, and all else will absolve itself. I love that about the heart, guided and supported by a divine love every day in every way, trusting and living that from the heart. Then joy is yours. Joy is mine. Joy is ours. So these two ways of communicating, this meditation and visioning to hear God. Think about that. And when you think, well, when I sit to meditate, it's just like busy thought. That's because that's what the brain, that's what the instrument is designed to do. To think up, to connect neurons, to do all of this. But then the heart, there's the heart that will overpower the brain. It will send juicy messages to the brain to say, now release these endorphins of love on this situation. Bathe it now. We need this in our world as we reach critical mass, critical moments of people all meditating with just hearts beating with love and understanding, not beating with judgment and opinions and stances. But the call, it's gotten so ugly out there, we just kind of go, what do I do? What do? You love. You love more. You love deeper. You love bigger. How? Stay in your heart. Stay in your heart and listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen to your heart's song. Listen to that. And when we operate from that, the world begins to shift before our eyes. We have the right words to speak in moments that are challenging. We pause a little longer and dwell in the silence. We dwell in the presence and we say, let my word offer a greater good to this moment and nothing less. Let me not have to be right. Let it be okay. Let it be okay that I wasn't heard. Let it be okay. And let me speak again. So we find these ways to communicate. And if we rely too much on the indoctrination of our own beliefs, there was a minister named Tom Costa, very famous for finding clever little ways, but he said, look at the word belief. Within that is the word lie, L-I-E. And I thought, I never, some things you're like, yeah, word search, there it is. And I thought, well, that's true. Within some of our beliefs, they're not all true. But the heart will speak the truth because we're operating on love and law. So think first is about the thought of what you want. Then check in with the feelings that are surrounding it. You think your thought and then you kind of are spending time. What are my feelings? Is there alignment? Or am I misinterpreting my feelings in order to push my agenda? Truth will be revealed to each and every one of us through the heart space when we sit long enough and align our thinking and feeling. Again, the humanity and the divinity of ourself coming as one. Interesting enough, as I spoke on Easter about the cross, this vertical line of our divine body, this temple, this instrument connected to the divine, and then outreaching is an expression, this horizontal expression of our arms reaching out to embrace our world and to put our love into action. Where do these lines meet? Right here. Right here. You lead from right here. Heart, not just the organ pumping, this whole entire space that is filled with air and breath and life source, pulsing, beating through you, reminding you who you are in your humanity. So truth is revealed when we sit long enough. Sometimes we're trying to connect all the dots in our life. And then we try to put the dots into the future, but we can't. We have to live each moment as it comes and think, well, last time this happened, so I'm going to choose as I move forward and try to pattern a new way, is to just learn from my past and connect my feelings with what has happened, and then grow and trust and follow the heart and think deeper, contemplate more deeply. So I ask you, what do you deserve? What do you deserve? Because you can't really live out anyone else's expectations. If you're still doing that, quietly put it down. Thank them for trying. But if you're still modeling your behavior and your life's work out of something that was dictated to you long ago, but truly inside of you, the passion of who you are was wanting to be a potter. Go, learn, be a potter. Find what stirs the heart and connect the thread. And be that in your world. You have this precious life to offer your heart into the work. I absolutely loved being a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse all my life. And where it led me now is just in a wellness world where I get to talk to people about what is and what can be, not what was. And we have a heart-to-heart connection just like that. I used to be so amazed how quickly I could connect with my people, and never my father, because I had walls around my father. But I knew more about a fellow patient within a few moments of conversation than I ever knew about my own father. And I struggled with that for many years. But then I realized, well, I've gotten to know my father better by means of all these people. So let's speak to the harmony and the flow of the heart and the brain. Heart math calls it, we reach a coherent state. So we're going to do a little experiential today and look for that coherent state, to kind of feel that coherent state. And that involves your participation with the meditation. And this toy here was gifted to me from Phoebe. And I thought, well, what the heck is this? And you saw how it kind of did one of those. But we're going to breathe with this as an apparatus so I can kind of entrain you into a pattern of breathing. We're going to play with the idea of dropping and feeling from the heart space itself. Right now you're listening with your ears and the mind and the brain and part of your heart. But we're looking for something deeper where the synergy and the clarity reveal itself through you. Because at your genuine core, at the deepest place of your heart, this is where the coherence, where the mind-body connection is absolutely in its full range and in its full truth. So what I'm speaking of as I step into a little bit of the science world is that electromagnetic field. And for many years, they've tested this field. We all know that we're made up of positive, negative pole and charges. Every electron in our body has a positive, negative charge. We are magnetic beings. We are connected to the magnetic force of this planet. We're connected to one another through that force. So I'm going to invite Damien up for just a moment. This electromagnetic force is something that you feel, and they've done it many experiments of people's hearts approaching, and you can feel where that magnetic field, it extends before you and around you at about a 4 to 6 foot diameter all around you. It's also, if you've seen, it's called a tortal shape. It looks like a donut, and there's dimensions to it. And this form, this force, the positive, negative poles, they rise from your feet, they stretch out to that field, and they connect back down into the crown, down into the heart space. So there's this first layer of this circle that just moves through you, down from the center core, out through the feet, and back and above. And the center out from the heart, out from the arms, back up from the lower part and back up this channel. So you've got that inner torus shell, and you've got this outer. So you've got this beautiful shape, this orb of light and energy around you. And so watch as I try to feel Damien's heart. Where do I feel it with my little magic wands here? Just like a water witching. So I hold him, and he approaches. Whoops, I didn't even have a chance to say anything. That's how close it is. Go back. You see, I knew he had a big heart, so I'm holding them real loosely here. And so they have kind of their play. And then as Damien approaches, he's thinking from his heart space. And there it is. So I don't make that happen. They turn, they cross. Now, if I ask Damien, and I know you can release this thought as well, but as you back up, I want you to think of something that makes you unhappy, that closes the heart space. And only think of it not to harm anyone or yourself, but just for a moment, just kind of think that. And approach me again, closing the heart through some thought force. And when you're ready. Wow. Isn't that interesting? To me, it's fascinating. To me, it's such a visual. Let's open your heart again, okay? That feels really mean. It feels really mean to do. But this is when you go into the field of visioning or meditating, you want to create that field. You don't want to just sit down and meditating. No, I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to put before me pictures all on my altar of my heart, or images before my heart that really open me to this field, this agape field of great, vast love. I open to that, then I do my work. Then I take my silence into the depth of my heart and I open to the world. So, Mr. Maybe he has to go to the bathroom because they're water wands, but no, thank you, Damien. But see, we all have that, and I thought, well, what if I wondered how open my congregation is, and then, whoa! And then I thought if I walked closer and closer, well, isn't that interesting? How they play. When you speak the question, the response of the divine is right there. Of course there's love in this room. Of course there is. It woke you up today and it stirred you into the idea of, I want to be there. I want to know this truth of speaking from the heart. So this toy, when you go into the heart math of the meditation, you must drop from the head. And to do that, you do it through the space of the heart. So I'm going to try to entrain us into a path. Now you can do this meditation with eyes open. Once you are familiar with your own breath pattern, you can close your eyes and just go there. But I would like you to just plant your feet solid and feel the spiritual moment. Feel the divine appointment. You came here today for an experience. So you put one hand on the heart for a moment. And you witness the breathing and the heartbeat and the miraculous wisdom of the brain and the mind of this beautiful heart of yours. And then you rest your hands in your lap, palms open, and you start to be aware. Like an elevator, The mind and the awareness dropping floor by floor by floor until it reaches the level of the heart. And then we start to take a full breath in and out. We breathe in and out. Breathing in and out. Now we take that breath and we bring it in and out through the field of the heart. Feel it as if the organ of the heart itself inhaled right through the center of your chest and out through the back, exhaling deeply through the heart space, connecting. I have Damien play some music now. Music in touch with the heart. What do you want? You're breathing the heart space. Feel the heart expanding. You're breathing through the heart. You're breathing through the Christ at the center. You are opening. You're quiet and still enough to feel the beat of your own heart within the breath. The divine is breathing you. Full, deep breath in to the heart and out. Let that passage of breath release you. Let the walls of the heart drop down. This heart space fills you, beyond you, around you. And at the very altar of our heart, we feel love, understanding, forgiveness. And we place the situation that has troubled us most. We offer it. We lay it on the altar. We lay it down. We're breathing as one. We are at that critical moment where the Christ, the light, is revealed. Feel it in your body. Be anointed by the divinity, by the love, by that which we cannot put a word to. Change your world by aligning with your heart, where the divinity, the truth, meets you, fills you. Through the heart, God speaks. Through the heart, God loves. We are one. We are one. We are that. And as the music begins to fade, I am that. I am. God speaks. I am. A full breath, and we say the sound ah, ah. We breathe in. Ah, the sound of the heart. We breathe in. Ah. The sound of it all in the sound of Om. We breathe in. There's only one. And right now, in a tangible moment, we weep with joy, for we have established a unified connection to the divine, and our hearts so tender from a life well lived through every challenge. We just sit back and let love lead the way from this moment forward. It's how God speaks, through love. I release this word, knowing that we each carry on in our journey, awake and ready in love. Thank you, God, and so it is. Thank you.